When I look at the two guys, for me, these are, and you're talking about a tournament where you have the 4 world champions in. So you have, let's say, the 2 favorites, Gassiev and Usyk. But for me, the dark horses, they're sitting at the table here. These are the guys that I think it's very interesting that they already meet in the quarterfinal, because they are both, in my opinion, under-talked about in this competition so far. Everyone is talking a lot. There's a lot of money going on Usyk. There's a lot of money on Briedis. There's talk about Kudryashov's punch. But there's been less talk, internationally at least, about this part here. So I'm expecting absolute fireworks on the evening. I think it's going to be a fight where you're going to see 2 gladiators, 2 true power punchers, guys who have both fought at heavyweight. 2 guys, interestingly, that I both was very close to signing at some stage of their careers. I've been offered many times to work with Mairis. Mairis has been in training camps with us in Germany. Mr. Perez, when he was at heavyweight, was offered to us, and we were very close to also doing some business there. So they're both boxers that are very, very appealing to the international audience. So I expect to see, like I say, a dynamic fight. It's a fight that's going to take place in an arena. If you've been to a boxing fight before, it takes place in a very rectangular setup. This setup is all new. You'll see it the first time this weekend. I believe it's being shown here on television, the Usyk fight against Hook this weekend, which will be the first part of the World Boxing Super Series, the first weekend. And you will see the setup. It's amazing. The production is sensational. And I think it's a great way to kick off big-time boxing in Latvia. So thank you very much. Enough talking from me, Linda.
Tātad īsumā par to, ko teica Kalna, prieks atrasties Rīgā. Protams, nevar sagaidīt cīņu. Šis turnīrs tātad ir revolucionārs, varēja izvēlēties tātad katrs no bokseriem savu pretinieku. Un šajā turnīrā 2 favorīti un arī, protams, tumšie zirdziņi. Tas padara to visu vēl interesantāku. Protams, 30. septembra cīņa vakarā viņš gaida šo cīņu gandrīz kā uguņošana tā būs, bet iespaidīgi un spilgt, un noteikti būs dinamiska cīņa, un noteikti arī skatuva, viss būs organizēts ļoti, ļoti iespaidīgi. Kā nākamais došu vārdu Maika Peresa trenerim. Shadid Sulki, please, for you. How's the preparation period going?
Well, they're going very, very well. You know, we're in serious training now. So I really can't say too much about anything, that, with the exception that it's going very well.
Tātad, kā jau mēs visi sapratām, viss notiek, tā tam jānotiek, viss ir kārtībā, un nekas specifisks šobrīd netiks atklāts. Maika Peresa, boksers no Kubas, un šobrīd dzīvo Īrijā. Mike, what will we see from you in the ring of the end of September? What do you expect about your opponent?
Well, you have to wait until the 3rd of September to see. I expect a good fight, you know, a hard fight. He's a champion, so I training hard for it. So, you know, I'm looking forward for just to give the crowd like what they deserve, a big fight.
Previously, you said that you will win the tournament. Why you are so sure about it?
Sorry?
Previously, you said that you will win this tournament. Why you are so sure about it?
I sure myself. I sure in my skill, in what I do. I've been boxing for 26 years, and I'm confident enough to say that yes, I will win the tournament. Yeah.
Thank you. Tātad Maiks ir tiešām pārliecināts, ka viņš uzvarēs šo, un viņam ir pamatojums, jo viņš 26 gadu praktiski jau pie tā ir strādājis, lai būtu labākais. Turpinām ar Santlēnu, Maira Brieža treneri. Sveiki, Santi. Kā noris sagatavošanās process, vai pagaidām izdodas viss iecerētais?
Jā, mēs sākām trenēties jau jūnijā, mierīgs uzsākām treniņus pēc uzvarētās čempionu cīņas. Sākām tieši šai cīņai gatavoties 5 nedēļas atpakaļ, un sanāk jūlija beigās. Un viss kā vienmēr iet pēc plāna. Protams, pēc pēdējās cīņas pastījāmies un ir lietas, kuras mēs atkal pamainām, jo ir jāprogresē un šeit cīņai, tāpēc arī šeit pretinieks cits krēls. Mazliet tāpēc atkal specifika mazliet savādāk būs visam nometnē un arī turpmākajām tagad, ko mēs pēdējām nedēļām aizvadīsim, bet, kā arī Peress treneris teica, tur atklāt kaut kādas lietas un stāstīt, ko mēs darām, kā tagad tās netaisīsim un nestāstīsim neko īpaši, jo viss noiet pēc plāna un tā kā gaidam datumu cīņu, kad būs.
Paldies. Un Mairis Briedis, VBC pasaules čempions. Dien, Mairi. Kāda sajūta pirms pirmās VBC pasaules čempiona titula aizstāvēšanas?
Sveiki visiem. Kādas sajūtas ir? Atkal esam mierīgi, atkal trenējamies, atkal gatavojamies un ir jauni mērķi, liela mērķi mums ir priekšā. Un, gatavojamies, pirmoreiz gatavojamies krēlim. Specifiski viss ir pavisam savādāk, nav kā parasti, bet pateicoties treneriem, pateicoties visiem tiem, kas palīdz, mēs gatavojamies un šodien sākās pirmie Sparringi.
Paldies! Un tagad laiks žurnālistu jautājumiem, jūs varat droši uzdot savus jautājumus.
So, Linda, could you just, for me, say what Mairis and his trainer just briefly said?
Trainer said something like other trainer,
yeah.
That they are training right now.
That's what trainers always say.
Yeah,
yes.
Of course, the preparation is going very well.
Yeah.
And first time they're going to be boxing with a boxer who fights with the left hand.
Yeah.
So it's something what they do right now. And Mairis said he feels very good and he's training. And today is the first sparring.
Okay.
From
very good.
Yeah?
When I come back for the fight week, I will speak Latvian. Okay?
Okay.
It's a promise.
Deal. Great.
No problem.
Thank you. Lūdzu, jums bija tā.
Maika Peresa saka, ka viņš ir pārliecināts, ka par savu uzvaru turnīrā, ko viņam varētu atbildēt.
Kā jau es un kā jau latvieši esam pieticīgi, un es jau teiktu, ir tāds parasts teiciens, nesaki hop, pirms tu esi pārliekts, un no sākuma ir mūsu cīņa, un es domāju, kad šeit arī viss apstāsies pie mūsu cīņas un turnīrus, bet, tāpēc arī mēs gatavamies, un to mēs redzēsim, kas notiksies 30. septembrī.
Mairi, tev iespēja izvēlēties savu pretinieku un izvēlējies Peresu. Kādi bija tev galvenie apsvērumi, kādēļ tu izvēlējies tieši cīnīties pret viņu?
Daudz maz, ja skatoties uz priekšu, bet Dievs, ja mēs uzvaram šo cīņu, tad nākošais ir iespējamais 90%, kad ir arī krēlis, tas ir Rusiks. Un līdz ar to arī tā kā priekšpieredzes, ar krēļiem ir pavisam viss savādāk. Pat arī šeit gatavoties, mēs visu to redzam un izjūtam pret krēļiem savādāk. Tāpēc arī šī izvēle tik tāda.
So there was a question about how Mairis feels that Mike says he will win this. And Mairis said they're saying in Latvian, don't speak before you do something. So keep calm and just doing his thing. And there was a question why Mairis pick Peress. So he said that if he wins, the next boxer will be who's fighting with the left hand too. So it's a good experience for him.
Good, interesting.
Jautājums, vai turnīra formāts šī izslēgšanas spēka kārtības, cīņu kārtība, pusola, lielais naudas balvu fonds, vai tas kaut kādā mērā ietekmē to vispār gatavošanos domas par to visu?
Tāpēc ir jāsaņemās un nedrīkst saslāpt. Jā. Šeit nav basketbols, kur ir kaut kāds pārbaudas spēles un pārbaudas kaut kādi mači. Šeit ir uzreiz viss diezgan strikti un ja tu izlidot, tad vairs nevienam neesi vajadzīgs. Tāpēc šeit ir maksimāli jāsagatavojas, maksimāli jādod sevi šim turnīram, lai par Latviju runātu kā par stipru valsti, ne tikai boksā, bet arī daudzos citos sporta veidos. Tāpēc ir jābūt kā piemēram un jābūt vienmēr, kā treneris saka, mietā jābūt vienmēr.
Jautājums tad uzreiz nākamais. Šajā turnīrā būs iespējams izcīnīt to, ko vēl neesmu izcīnījis savā karjerā līdz šim, domājot finansiāli, vai tas nav kaut kāds vēl papildus psiholoģiskais sloks? Tomēr runīja par 5 miljonus, kas ir izskanējis kā kopējais balvs.
Ja godīgi, tur nav tik daudz, tas ir par visu, bet pagaidām es neskatos priekšu. Es tagad daru, ko mēs darām tagad, soli pa solimējam un tālāk skatīties līdz pat finālam. Tas nebūtu pareizi. Tajā momentā mēs koncentrējamies uz šo cīņu un jāpārvar šī cīņa, tad mēs varam tālāk runāt, vēl diskutēt par kādām finansēm un tā tālāk.
Un tad varbūt vēl pēdējais jautājums, cik tev pašam tas nozīmē, ka tieši šim turnīram ir Muhameda Ali vārds un kad arī viņa ģimene ir devusi savu akceptu un tas nav vienkārši tie kā reklāmas avalkos.
Tas ir VBC prezidenta, jo pirmā josta bija VBC čempionu josta, kas piederēja arī Muhamedam Ali, un tāpēc arī, teiksim tā, ir papildus motivācija. Šis turnīrs ir ļoti, ļoti tāds motivēts un priekš katra boksera, priekš manis it sevišķi, jo pie manis ir VBC čempionu josta. Un līdz ar to arī, šī motivācija, sloks, viņš padara šo turnīru ne pavisam tik viegli, kā gribētos, bet, pie visa cilvēka pierod.
So there was a question about pressure and motivation, and because of the huge price of this match. And Mairis said that, of course, he needs to concentrate, but it's not it's first time so much money, so big money prize, but he just look for this fight and not the whole thing what they're gonna take to the end. So,
Maira, tev laikam visu laiku labākais teiciens Latvijas sportā, man dopings ir mana tauta, kad šīs gaidāmās cīņas, kas būs turpat Rīgā, arēnā Rīga. Ko tu saviem faniem var pateikt tādu kā uzmudinājumu, lai viņi ierastos uz arēnu un tev atbalstītu, vai tev viņiem ir kāds ziņojums, kas Peresu sagaida ringā?
Cik es dzirdēju, to biļetes un cilvēki būs diezgan daudz, un man viņiem nav ko cilvēkiem, maniem faniem nav ko pateikt vēl vairāk. Viņi vienmēr ir augstākajā līmenī, viņi vienmēr atbrauc, kur es būtu, un atbalsta tik, cik skaļi. Pat arī Vācijā aizbraucot, viņi bija nenormāli skaļi, un visi vācieši bija pārsteigti kā tā, bet tā tas bija, un es domāju, mājās būs vienkārši mega cīņa un mega arī līdzjutēji atbalsts. Es domāju, ka būs, to vārdiem nevar tā paskaidrot, kas notiksies arēnā, es jau tam gatavojos arī psiholoģiski.
There was a question about what Mairis can say for his fans, and he answered that of course arena will be full, and he knows that Latvians love him, and they will, of course, there was loud fan, and fighting at home is so good because there was previous match in Germany, where Latvians too, so it's going to be great, and his work is that he can show to fans.
I didn't know there were so many Latvians in Germany when you boxed Marco Huck, yeah? But I must say, before the press conference today, we've already sold, I think, 75% of the tickets, so I think at the end of the week it's sold out, so it looks good.
Tātad šobrīd jau ir jāpārvēl 70% uz cīņu. Any questions? Lūdzu, vēl jautājumi?
Sandri, par tiem Sparring partneriem var pastāstīt, cik viņi būs visi kreļi vai kaut kādiem savādāk?
Jā, Sparring partneri viss būs kreļi, cik būs, mēs skatāmies, sākumā mums ir 3, bet pēc pirmās nedēļas, kad aizvadīsim sparingus, tad skatīsimies, kurš mums tā kā vairāk dar, kurš mazāk, jo nav, kā es arī pirms tam Mairim teica, mums nav arī iestrādāts ar kreļiem, mēs boksējām ar labajā stājā bokseriem, un līdz ar to mums tur bija tā kā iestrādāts, mēs jau zinājām, kur labāk, kur sliktāk, kur tā kā šeit viss sanāk tā kā no jauna, un tāpēc šodien mēs sāksim, un šitās 3 nedēļas skatīšos, principā, kuri tie, kas mums tagad ir paņemti, mēs tāpat vienkārši nevienu nemainam, ja viņi ir labi, tad viņi arī paliek, ja kāds nevelk, tad tā kā bija iepriekšējā kempā, tad sūtam mājās, un tad samainam, rezervē mums ir čāļi vēl, un tā kā viss ir pagaidām labi. Kad sāksies Sparring, tad arī skatīsimies.
Question about sparring partners. Do they all will be self-owned? But coach trainer just said that they have much of them, and maybe they will make some changes. He will just watch these 4 weeks till the fight.
Arī Sandri, ja neskaidrs, ka viņš krēlis, ir vēl kaut kādas lietas, kas viņu raksturo? Ko vairāk sīkni?
Nu jā, es viņu skatījos tās cīņas. Viņš tagad 2 gadu nav boksējis, 2 gadu, un cīņas es skatījos, tās, kas bija iepriekš, tur viņš bija heavyweightā, smagajā svarā, un visticamāk, kad es pieņemu, ka viņš nebūs tik lēns, kāds viņš bija, un tāpēc arī mēs gatavamies, ka viņš tagad būs citā svara kategorijā, viņš boksēs savādāk pavisam, un tādas cīņas, diemžēl, nav ko paskatīties, jo viņam tā cīņa, kas bija pēdējā pusgada apakaļ, vai kad bija, es neatceros precīzi, tā beidzās tur pārāk ātri, tur nebija pat ko skatīties, jo tas viss notika, man tā liekas, 10 sekundēs. Un tāpēc tāds, kāds viņš būs tagad, mēs jau nezinām, un es pieņemu to, ka viņš būs savā labākajā formā, ka viņš arī gatavojas šim turnīram, kā visi, viņš grib vinēt, un tāpēc arī mēs pieejam ļoti nopietni, un tā kā, vispār atklāt nevar.
So, there was a question about specific of Maika Peress, not the self-founded, but other specific things, and Sandis answered that he watched this match which was 2 years ago, and of course now he will be better, and Mike will be at his best shape now.
Jautājums Peresam, vai viņš uzskata Briedi par stiprāko pretinieku savā karjerā?
Mike, do you think that do you think that Mairis is the most harder opponent for you in your career?
I can't say that I haven't fighted him yet, so I hope so, you know. I can say that after the fight and see. Right now, I can't say that.
Thank you. To mēs redzēsim pēc cīņas. Šobrīd vēl Maiks nezina.
That's a true Cuban, you know. When a Cuban says, you ask a Cuban, you know, is he my hardest opponent? He says, I hope so. I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, if you look at the 2 boxing schools that collide here, I know Mairis comes from a kickboxing background, but it's very much it's also very interesting to see the old Soviet school against the Cuban school. Yeah, this is although they're both very untypical of those styles. You know, another little side storyline.
Tātad ļoti interesanti ir vērot šo atšķirību starp padomju boksa skolu, jo Mairis, protams, viņš tomēr arī nodarbojas ar kickboksu, un salīdzinot to ar Kubas boksu.
It's the two most successful schools in the world coming against each other. So.
Kas tātad, jā, beidzot ringā liksies 2 veiksmīgākās boksa tātad skolas pasaulē. Viena pret otru. Vēl kāds?
Peres savā karjerā ticies ar vairākiem latviešu bokseriem iepriekš. Viņš kaut kā atceros no tām cīņām?
Mike, again for you. In your career, you met different Latvian boxers before. You something remember from them? The fighting style?
No. No. I believe I beat one Latvian guy in Junior World Champion 2004 or 5. I was about 15, the thing I said. I'm not sure, but no, I don't believe much now.
And you won this Latvian guy?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay, good start.
Yeah.
Tātad Maiks diemžēl daudz no tā neatcerās, bet jā, ir ticies kādu latvietu, un kā mēs saprotam, arī viņu uzvarējis.
Mairis, have you boxed Cubans before?
Yeah.
No? It's also interesting.
Question to Mike. There will be a huge support for Mairis because this match will be held here in Riga. How you are preparing for...
Sorry, you repeat again, please?
Sorry?
What, can you say it again, please?
How you are preparing yourself for the match here in Riga because there will be huge support. Basically, all people will be there for Mairis. So, are you somehow preparing for that?
No, there's no problem. You know, I fight for myself. He fight for himself. You know, when we jump in the ring, we just me and him and the referee. The crowd is not affecting me. You know, it actually give me more energy, and you know, I just take it like this is mine too. You know, you know, so it's that's no problem.
Tātad Maikam problēmas nesagādās tas, ka būs ļoti daudz Latvijas fanu, un viņš ļoti pārliecināts par sevi, kurā gadījumā.
Es vēl vienu jautājumu varu. Maira cīņa būs labāka nekā Mairis un McGregoram?
Jūs jautājat Mairim?
Es domāju, būs daudz labāk. Tas būs boks, tas nebūs šovs. Šeit būs īsti divi cīnītāji. Kā teica, klasiskais kubas boks un klasiskais, kā teica, padomju savienības boks. Nu, laikam, jā, to varētu tā nosaukt. Un tā būs cīņa, tas būs boks, nevis šovs.
So there was a question, is this fight going to be better than McGregor and the Mayfighter fight? And Mairis said that it's going to be a real fight, not this show.
Good answer.
The last question for Team Perez. What are your plans when you will come back to Riga, or you will have, or you will come only the day before the fight, or how it will go?
We'll be travelling here on the Sunday.
Sorry?
We'll be here a week beforehand.
Week before, and you will have some sparring too here, or?
No, we have obligations. There'll be a lot of press conferences and workouts and.
Yeah, the teams will all be here from the Sunday. And Mairis obviously before, but Team Perez will arrive on the Sunday before as well, and the media schedule you'll receive before. But that's always the open workout, the press conference, and then of course the weigh-in.
No, I mean maybe he will do some sparring.
No, but I having worked with many world champions, I've not seen any full contact sparring in fight week. In fact, as a promoter, if I saw them doing full contact sparring, I'd probably stop it because that's not on. But what often fighters do, they'll do maybe sort of shadow sparring and things like this. But I've rarely seen fighters in fight week. Last sparring is normally 8 to 10 days out.
You know, the hard work is over with.
Yeah.
It's time to relax and come in and get ready to fight.
Jautājums bija par to, vai Maiks ar komandu uzturēsies Latvijā līdz cīņai. Viņi ieradīsies nedēļu pirms cīņas, un bija arī jautājums par to, vai šeit Latvijā būs arī kāds Sparring partners Maikam, uz ko komanda atbildēja, ka tik īsa laiku līdz cīņai tas nav nepieciešams, un viss jau ir patiesībā sagatavots. Svarīgāk ir tātad šī morālā sagatavošanās, miers un atpūta.
All right, so let's go to the photos.
One final question. I want the predictions for this weekend. Hook, Usyk. So who's going to win? Hook, Usyk. How are they going to win?
Mate, no different to me.
No, but prediction, Mike.
Who's going to win?
What do you think is going to win? Hook, Usyk, and how? Just out of interest.
Depend.
They're showing the fight here.
My personal opinion, I fancy Hook if he keep everything he have and if he train hard. I fancy him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. And you, Mairis, how do you see the...
Es domāju, ka...
You know them both well?
Kad it kā favorīts ir Usyks, bet ja Hooks tikpat kā viņš boksēja vairākus gadus atpakaļ, tikpat agresīvi, tikpat netīri, tad iespējams, ka arī Usikam būtu, viņš sasādījis problēmas, bet ja viņš mēģinās klasisks boksu boksēt, tad diez vai tur kas sanās pret Usiku.
So favorite one is the Usyk, but if Hook will show his best, like 2 years ago, like he's fighting, then it's going to be interesting. But Usyk is his favorite.
Okay. Tu neiztulkoji baigi pareizi, bet labi.
Nē,
viņš skaitās favorīts apkārtējiem. Nevis mans favorīts, es tā skatos tā kā no malas, bet viņš tā kā pēc visiem tiem olibetiem, kā tie, kas liek tās bookmakeri to, ka liek tur ir favorīts Usyks, bet es saku, ja Huks boksēs tā, kā viņš boksē, piemēram, tīru boksu mēģinās boksēt, tad diez vai viņam kas sanās, bet ja viņš boksēs tāpat kā dažus gadus atpakaļ, ka viņš boksē, kad bija agresīvāks un tāds netīrāks, ja viņš savu netīro boksu boksēs, tad iespējams, ka viņš var arī Usykam sastādīt problēmas Rīgā.
So, Usyk not his favorite, it's favorite from the bookmakers and all, but if Hook will show the best and he will take not problems for Usyk.
So both for Hook. Interesting. Interesting.
You have to bet money on
me. I'm running out there now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. And we will now do pictures up here, and then if what people want to take the fighters for one-on-one interviews, we do that as well. One all together, and then we'll do just the fighters. So if you go stand. Okay. Okay. Great. Now, just the guys. So if you just step just on behind the lines with the trope in the middle, and if you circle each other. Nice front. Right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Paldies visiem.
Okay.
So this the prize money for the whole tournament is $50 million, and can you say that how much money will probably earn in this category?
Many millions of dollars. We won't give exactly the prize money out. Potentially later towards the fights we might, but for the moment, the total prize pot is $50 million. You're correct.
And
that's for 2 weight classes, though. Don't forget.
Yeah, and how much money for each category will be split?
Well, it's a little bit more on the super middleweights, but only slightly, simply because the cruiserweights. This is the biggest prize that the cruiserweights have ever fought for. This is the money for cruiserweights in this tournament have gone up, I would say, 5 to 6, 7 times. It's absolutely massive. It's the biggest prize that's ever been in cruiserweight boxing.
This is a new format in the boxing world, this knockout tournament. Why do you believe it will be successful?
I believe in storylines in boxing. As a promoter, I look for a storyline. I have to create storylines to sell a fight. And I think if you look at storylines in a tournament, they only get better. So, you take from fight to fight. The storylines develop. I think we looked at the draw. The way we did the draw in Monaco was also the first time ever that you pick your opponent. So it was a situation where, man picks man, not the promoter picks or the agent picks or someone else picks. It was the fighter picking his opponent. So the initial reaction, if I say, I want to fight you, that's a certain reaction there. And it was interesting today. They didn't say too much about it, but definitely, in the gyms, they're thinking, why did he pick me? Or, was that the right pick? And I could see it also when we were in Monaco for the draw, very much the mentality around the fighters. They were looking at each other. They were looking at each other at the pool. They were looking at each other around the restaurants like, is he carrying extra weight? Oh, he's bigger than I thought he was. And you could see that a lot of people changed their minds when they saw them in the flesh. So that was fascinating. But you develop storylines. So why do I think it works? Because you develop these storylines over the time.
Mairis Briedis said that he didn't enjoy that he had to pick his opponent. What's the reaction from the boxers about this draft?
I think most actually enjoyed it. Interesting that Mairis didn't. I think if I was a cruiserweight, that's an interesting. I mean, the super middleweights are different. The super middleweights, there's not 4 world champions in. But there's a lot of very good young fighters and seasoned champions, so it's a mix. The cruiserweights, on the other hand, you've got 4 world champions. You've got 4, damn accomplished fighters who've already fought and won a lot of fights. So I think as a cruiserweight, I guess it's a very tough choice. Yeah? I mean, if you're standing up there, you've got Kudryashov you can choose from, who's got a 98, 99% knockout ratio. You've got Perez, who everyone knows is a very good puncher. And I'm trying to think of the last one that you could choose from. Dorticos, you've got Gassiev, Hook you had up there, of course, as a record-breaking world champion, as the last one. So imagine that's your choice. I can understand why he didn't like to choose, but ultimately the choice is a choice, Interesting that he said, I thought it was very interesting that he said that he chose because he was a southpaw, a left-handed fighter, so that it would prepare him for the next fight. You can read into that. It's quite a tactical decision.
Some boxing experts also said that they were a little surprised about that Perez will participate in this tournament. What is the reason for Perez to be in this tournament?
Well, anyone who knows anything about Cuban boxing, I'm a big fan of it. It's a very pleasing to the eye way of fighting. You'll see here it'll be a great fight. It'll be a great fight on September 30th because Cuban boxing is about going forward. It's about very, very technical fighting, but also with a lot of power behind it. And Perez, don't look into his record too much. This guy has been through a lot. He's been down, he's been up, he had some personal problems, and he's come down from heavyweight. So that, for me, makes him a very, very interesting outside bet.
And besides this huge prize money and this beautiful trophy, what else also boxers will earn? There's some titles also?
Yeah, I forgot, but the winner, the cruiserweight champion, will be the unified champion of the world. He will have every belt. So that's a storyline which, as a boxing fan, as a boxing promoter, I think that's ultimately what you want to watch. You want to see them unify the belts, and it's always some reason in between. It's that promoter doesn't like that promoter, or that he's with HBO, this one's with Showtime. But here, everyone's in, everyone has put their belts on the line, everyone is fighting for this beautiful trophy behind me, and that's what it's about. Of course, it's about a lot of money as well. It's professional boxing, it's not amateur boxing.
And how much money do you think you will earn from this tournament?
With myself?
Well,
I'm not fighting. No, I mean it's a concept that's going to go for many years, and we want to build the brand, and we worked very closely with the Ali estate in developing the concept, and we're very lucky to have them as ambassadors for the tournament.
7, 8 years ago there was a Super 6 series.
Correct.
This is a new version of that tournament.
It's the Super 6 at the time was I was looking after Mikkel Kessler, Arthur Abraham. I had a very good relationship with Carl Froch and his team, and they were the world champions from Europe. So I was also close with Showtime in America. And the idea came basically from a way to match fighters, to put them into a tournament where they had to fight each other. Because fighters would often say, yeah, well, I'd like to fight him, but I want to fight him first. And it's business, you know, and a tournament was a way of getting them together. So we looked at what went wrong in the Super Six when we were doing the Arlie Trophy, and what went wrong was that it took far too long. It was a group stage, so you know, you could lose but still be in, and we've gone obviously from that into a straight knockout format. And that format is now something that, you know, we're testing it out here, but it's a test that has already been done in a boardroom, because we have worked through every single thing that can go wrong. So if someone is pulling out, there's replacements. It's all these things up to the fight. So all the rules are a little bit different. You know, we're having a fourth judge, so there's no draws. You cannot have a draw. There's no draws, so everyone will be going for it to the last minute. And there's a few little surprises that will come along the way. Alongside that, also, the way we'll present it, you'll see the setup in the ring. I explained before. It looks like an amphitheatre out of Rome. You'll see it this weekend in Berlin. The first time, it's the setup that these guys have done is unbelievable.
You said the ticket sales in Riga are doing pretty good. What are the ticket sales in the other fights?
You know, cruiserweights as ticket sales is going good. You know, I mean, Riga is interesting because you have a real local hero. Liverpool will be a sellout. It's England. Berlin this weekend should do well because it's Berlin Hook has fought there many times under me as well, under Team Sauerland. I think the tournament will increase in interest throughout. You know, so I think in the end, you look at a very big stadium final next May.
Question about Mairis. He isn't the biggest image in boxing because he doesn't trash talk. He doesn't sell his image. For you as a promoter, can you see some storyline, as you said that you are seeking that?
Well, I think he's a good-looking guy. He's a guy you can sell, definitely. You know, but you know what? Ultimately, you can sell yourself a lot outside the ring, but you got to sell yourself. You got to back that up with a performance. And I remember seeing him knock out Manuel Char, and that, you know, was for me one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. Those sort of things, you know, I think I don't know how many YouTube clicks that's had. That makes a lot more YouTube clicks than taking $1,000 bills and throwing them out the window. You know, that you can do when you're 49-0, but not when you're an up-and-coming cruiserweight guy who's just won the world title. Then you have to establish yourself in different ways. So, you know, we've represented boxers like in the 90s, Gentleman Henry Maskell. You know, was a pretty boring guy, but ultimately he had 19, 20 million viewers on television in Germany. We've also had bad boys, Derek Chisora, for example, you know, who throw tables when you're sitting next to them at press conferences. So boxing is full of heroes, villains, you know, sinners, guys who are, you know, this is not a choir boy. This is not a church sport. You get everything in boxing. You get guys from the ghetto. You get guys who are well educated. You get guys from all walks of life, and that's the beautiful thing. The same thing as if you sit at a ring. You know, you don't expect to sit there and you're not at the opera. Yeah? So you've got a mixture of from politicians to footballers to gangsters to pop stars, all sitting next to each other. It's also quite a strange situation. Boxing is full of different characters in and outside the ring.
Maybe next season or in general, how hard or easy it will be for Latvia to also hold this this match, or it will be too expensive to organize here in Latvia?
For the next season, let me look ahead. You know, let's see how, first of all, how Mairis is performing now. But you know, we promoted a lot in many different countries. So we promoted in around this part of the world. We've promoted in Finland. We've promoted in Russia. We promoted recently in Sweden. It's not for us. It's not difficult to go into new countries. It's interesting to see the reaction. And the reaction normally you can tell by a first press conference that's not in the fight week. I'm very happy so far.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.